Hey everybody, this is John from RELICS, and I'm back, and we are going to be talking about some different topics today. First of all, I'm going to say is that we finally hit 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube. That's pretty cool. That's my 100,000 mark. I'll never get to 100,000, but to hit 10,000, to finally hit those 5 digits, it's pretty awesome, and I'm so stoked about that. I appreciate everyone who watches us here on YouTube. And people who comment on the videos, if you would, go down below and make a comment. Help this video get out there to more people. Be sure to tickle the like button and even the thumbs up button, I guess is what we call it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, that would be your cue to go down below and hit that subscribe button if you would like. So that was the first thing that we're going to talk about. We finally hit 10,000 subscribers. That's pretty cool. The second thing we're going to talk about is Chetakirty Snodgrass. Yes, Chetakirty Snodgrass. He made a comment on one of my videos talking about negotiating on $5 items at yard sales. And he is against it. And I'm against it too. I'm not really a big negotiator on cheap items. And this is my reasoning behind it. If I have, say, there's this sports card at a yard sale, and it's for $5, and if I know it sells for like say $20 on eBay, unless I can get a bunch of stuff together, if I can get like $100 worth of stuff piled up and be like, hey, there's $100 here. If I take it all, could you shoot me one lump sum price? Could you do any better than 100? But if I'm there, I'm not going to try to negotiate on a $5 item because my focus is getting down the road, getting to that next sale. And it's a lot easier for me to just be like, hey, this is what I've got here. Here's the money. Let me go. And I do feel kind of cheap personally whenever I try to negotiate on really inexpensive items. I feel kind of sticky. I feel kind of dirty. And I just don't like it. And I'm not saying that if somebody else does it, that they're right or wrong. They're more than welcome to. I heard people argue that if you save $1 per transaction and you do 100 transactions in a weekend, you saved yourself $100. And they're right. I guess you did save yourself $100, but I'm just thinking the amount of time that you spend negotiating over $1. There are guys like me that's just paying, and they're getting to the next sale before you, and maybe they're able to find that stuff that you're like missing. And that's kind of my theory. I don't want to stand there and like him haul around and try to get the guy to go find someone to ask if they'll take $4 for a $5 item. I'm not into that. I just want to sell or buy the item, put it in my car, go to the next sale. And to be honest, most of my stuff comes from auctions anyway, so I don't really do a lot of negotiations. They hold up an item, and the guy goes, humana, $1, humana, $2, and then whoever gets the most humanas, and with the highest number after the humanas, they win. So, like, if you bid that up to $5, humana, $5, humana, $5. Hey, looks like the fat guy with the Red Hot Chili Pepper shirt wins. And that would be me. I'm the fat guy with the Red Hot Chili Pepper shirt, and I win it for $5. So there's really no negotiating. I think it'd be kind of hard to like negotiate, be like, hey, I know I bid $5 on this item here, but I'd really like to only pay $4. That just doesn't happen. I was looking on a Facebook group, and I found it to be kind of interesting. There was an interesting story on there. And somebody was complaining about eBay giving them bad advice and them getting negative feedback over it. I have a little paper here. I'm going to read it to you. I could blob it up on the screen, but I'm not going to do that because I don't make enough money to edit these videos out. And you're going to watch no matter what because you're my buddies. And we're just going to read this stuff. And we're all going to be happy. It says, beyond angry, disappointed, and betrayed. What a way to start. What a way to start. As an eBay rep advised me to cancel 4 sales from the same unscrupulous, illegitimate buyer. I love the colorful language this guy's using. And then to block them and say if there's any negative feedback, all I have to do is contact eBay and it will be removed because he has documented everything. Well, of course, the guy gives me 4 negative feedbacks, ruining my 100% positive. And when I asked for feedback removal on all 4 and explained why, it was denied on the basis that it doesn't violate eBay policies. And now it's virtually impossible to speak to anyone in person to fully explain the situation and appeal this. And after he wrote this, he got a lot of advice. People are telling him, they're just like me. They're just negative feedbacks. It doesn't really matter. But like, people really get upset when they get that first negative feedback. They're at 100%. And they're like, oh my God, I'm at 99.9. That was me. And I really realized that when I switched selling this kind of stuff here, the toys, all of these toys here, that I realized that I was never going to have 100% positive feedback again, because it is one thing to sell items that are antique. Most of the time, people are very forgiving. They understand what they're getting. They can read. They look at the photographs. They're not functionally retarded, and they can, like, I shouldn't say that. I'm down to 10,003 subs now. Forgive me, I'm an old head, and I say stuff that I shouldn't say. But that being said, people are functionally retarded. And the people who collect this stuff tend to be very, we'll say, specific. They know exactly what they want, and they don't care if your pictures isn't what they want. You better make sure that your photos and the item that you're selling, it better be better than the photos and the description. If you say there's a dent in it, you better have made a mistake. There better not be a dent in it, because you're going to get negative feedback. And I say that in jest. A lot of this is more so like, there are more people like this in the collectible community. I got a negative feedback the other day from a guy that bought an item from me, and it was as described. The guy gets it, and it didn't have a tag in the shirt. So the guy was like, oh, this isn't an extra large, it's a large, and accused me of ripping the tag out of the shirt because of reasons. Because I guess ripping the tag out of the shirt and making up whatever size I want was is what a logical seller would do. But no, instead, like, it was all my fault. None of it was his fault. There were measurements in the photos. It said that there was no tag in the description. There was photos of there not being a tag. My fault. And, I get that. People get upset. I got a negative feedback. I gave him the money back for the shirt, and the guy revised it. We know the story, you guys that watch the video. He revised it to a neutral. I'm like, I would have just kept the negative. I could care less. I should have just kept his $13 and the negative feedback and went and spent that $13 on Dunkin' Donuts or something. But anyways, back to the paper here. We've got the guy. He's all upset. He gets a bunch of advice from people. They're telling him to email eBay for business. They're telling him to don't try to call, to just message him on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And he, just is not having any of it. He's like, I want my 100% positive feedback. I know that you guys think that it don't mean anything wrong. Anyways, let me read what he has to say. People give him a bunch of advice, and then he says, thanks for weighing in on this, folks, but you have to know that I spent an hour and a half on the phone with eBay. We've all been there. Today, after the online request for removal fell on deaf ears. This guy should write Shakespeare. The rep kept going back and forth with people in the feedback department, but I wasn't allowed to speak to them directly. He kept going back, asking them to reconsider in the light of new information, but they held their ground. Also, you can't block a bidder when you have no idea who is going to bid on your items. At this point, I've exhausted my appeals, and they have noted my record. I just have to wait a year for these damn things to go off my record. And it sucks because we have entered into the holiday season. And for those of you who aren't bothered by negative feedback, I am sorry. But I am. It's embarrassing. Hurts my reputation. Hurts my pride. My sales is unfair, malicious, and uncalled for. Period. Then he starts the next sentence with and, capital A, and eBay only adds insult to injury. And please don't try to school me into doing better. I've been with eBay for 25 years, sold over 30,000 items, and pride myself on stellar customer service all the way around. And thus ends the saga of the weird guy who is really upset over getting a couple negative feedbacks over some items that eBay told him to cancel. I don't know. I guess he'd have really got upset if he'd have sold me. I don't know. I don't know. He never said in the topic. I don't get it. He never said like why he just didn't ship the items. I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't want to really get into it with this guy. But that is my weird eBay seller story for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you would, go down, hit that daggum subscribe button. And I've lost a couple of subs from this video. So be sure, if you appreciate my sense of humor, to go down there and hip thrust that like button. You guys have a good day. Merry Christmas.